Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to continue more U substitution problems. So let's start with example number 1. So I want to integrate 6x squared times 2x to the third minus 3 to the 3/2 power dx. So same thing like we did yesterday, we're going to let u equal the stuff that's inside the parentheses. So this part here is my u. I'm going to use a different color. So let's make u equal 2x to the third minus 3. Then we integrate. So du, again, when we do integration, we multiply the 2 and the 3. That makes 6. 6x drop down a power. The derivative of a constant, 3, is 0, so times dx now. And then we solve for dx by dividing by 6x squared. So we have dx is equal to du over 6x squared. So now we can go back to our integration problem, and we have 6x squared times u to the 3/2. And plug in what dx is. Well, this is dx. So du over 6x squared. Perfect. Now again, the x's should cancel, which they do. Actually, all of it does, right? The 6x squared. So we're left with the integration of u to the 3/2 du. So now just as a review, we're adding 1 to the power and then dividing by that power. So I'm going to do that on the side over here. So 3/2 plus 1. 1 is the same thing as saying 2/2. So 3/2 plus 2/2 is 5/2. So that is what my new exponent is going to be. So u to the 5/2. Now you can divide by 5/2 if you'd like, but I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/5. That's the same thing. And then plus c. So my final answer is 2/5 u 2x to the third minus 3 to the 3/2 plus c. All right, I'd like to show you a couple of ways that you can write this answer. So obviously this is the first way. The second way is that technically I could write this over 1. So I can make this 2 times 2x to the third minus 3 to the 3/2 all over 5 plus c, right? I multiplied the tops with the tops, bottoms with the bottoms. Okay, that's one way or another way. And then the last way that you could write this is with root and power. So if I have 3/2, right, the 2 is my root and the 3 is my power if I'm changing it to a radical. So I could write this as 2 times the square root of 2x to the third minus 3 to the third all over 5 and then plus c. Okay, so there are technically 3 ways that we could write our final answer. I mean, technically there is a fourth way if you want to get technical. You could write it similar to number 1 but with radicals. So you could write it as 2/5 times the square root of 2x to the third minus 3 squared plus c. So I'm not really going to get too specific if I'm making it an extended response question, but just know that the multiple choice can be written in a variety of different ways. Okay, let's try example number 2. So I want to integrate 4x times the square root of 2x squared plus 5 dx. So the first thing that you want to do with any type of radical question is change it to a power. So you should know that the square root of something is the same thing as raising it to the 1/2 power. And then honestly, this problem looks just like problem number 1. We're going to let u equal the stuff that's inside the parentheses. So why don't you pause the video and try it, see what you can do, and then hit resume for the explanation. So we're going to let u equal the stuff that's inside the parentheses, and then we take the derivative of u, du, which is 4x dx. divide by 4x to solve for dx. So dx is du over 4x. And then let's go back and plug that information in. So we want to integrate 4x times u to the 1/2 times du over 4x. Now what's great is that these 4x's cancel, so we're really integrating u to the 1/2 du. So add 1 to the power and then divide by that power. So 1/2 plus 1, or 1/2 plus 2/2 is 3/2. So u to the 3/2. Now you can divide by 3/2, but I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2/3, and then plus c. So my final answer is 2/3 u 2x squared plus 5 to the 3/2 plus c. Perfect. All right, last and final example. Problem number 3. So we want to integrate 9x squared times the cube root of x to the 3rd plus 2 dx. So just like in example number 2, we're going to make the radical with a rational exponent. So we have 9x squared times x to the 3rd plus 2. Now you should remember that a cube root is the same thing as raising to the 1/3 power, and then times dx. So again, if you want to pause the video at this point, try it, see if you can do it, and then hit resume for the explanation. So again, we're going to let u equal the stuff that's inside the parentheses. So u is equal to x to the 3rd plus 2. The derivative is 3x squared dx. Divide by 3x squared. So we get dx is du over 3x squared. And then we go back to our problem, and we have 9x squared times u to the 1/3, and then we're going to plug in dx, which is du over 3x squared. So what's nice is the x squareds cancel, and that 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we're going to integrate 3u to the 1/3 du. I'm going to do that trick of taking out the constant of 3. So I have a 3 on the outside times the integral of u to the 1/3 du. So again, add 1 to the power. So 1/3 plus 3/3 is 4/3. So u to the 4/3, multiply by the reciprocal of 3/4 plus c. Again, don't forget this 3 that's on the outside there. So the final answer, if I put this over 1 and multiply tops with tops, bottoms with bottoms, is 9 over 4 u, which is x to the 3rd plus 2 to the 4/3 plus c. Again, make sure you're remembering that you can change all of these answers, right, to radicals. So just keep that in mind for multiple choice questions. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a good one.